thank you so much for coming here to join us at FundForum International to tell us about Worldwide Generation. What's it all about and what are the goals?
So Worldwide Generation was formed out of a opportunity that we saw that was coming, where the Sustainable Development Goals came out in September 2015. When the UN deemed our world in crisis, there was a global call to action for a resolution on extreme poverty, inequality and climate change by 2030. And when I saw that come out, knowing what I knew from the non-profit sector and the profit sector, I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to deliver those goals in time unless someone came up with a model that could help accelerate scale and the delivery of those goals. And so Worldwide Generation is a global platform to harness the policy power of government, the resource power of business, and the convening power of civil society to bring a partnership in a holistic way and in a transparent way to deliver these goals.
So this is a crucial audience for you here. You've got 1,400 members of the asset management industry under one roof.
Yes.
What do you hope they take away today?
So what I spoke today about was linking their purpose, their business objectives, their investment thesis to ESG, so environmental, social goals. Because if you can do that, there is a growing economy ready for them to capitalize on. That is 3 billion people that are living on less than $2.50 a day. These are the new consumers. If we can lift them out of poverty, there is a win-win for all stakeholders in this equation. If we can find a way to do activities that have economic purpose but also has a wider impact on society, that is the model that we're trying to promote. It's called G17. So G17 is a model that we designed at Worldwide Generation, which is named after the 17th goal, which is partnership for the goals, and it aims to deliver all 17 goals. This is also 2017, by the way. So we really believe that if the asset management, the finance sector, can take a hold of this trend there is a growing public that is socially and economically conscious, that is demanding transparency and responsibility out of their brands and leaders. And if they can see that trend as actually a positive thing and catch that wave, that social responsibility and bringing well-being into humanity can have a economic return, a very successful economic return. This is the message we want them to take.
And Baroness Verma, you truly believe that that is what the customer is now asking for as well?
Well, I think we've seen a dramatic shift. The 2015 goal setting of the Sustainable Development Goals demonstrated one thing, universally, that the world wanted to see this happen. And so for me, the model fits exactly with what the corporate world wants. They want to demonstrate that they're part of the solutions of being able to lift people and have a bottom line that services everyone. Mm-hmm. And I think what we've been missing for a long time is the way government, the corporate world, and the NGO community, the third sector, have failed to really work collectively together to a common purpose. And this common purpose is in the common purpose for all of us. Mm-hmm. So if you look at 3 billion, 4 billion, and the population is growing, the youth dividend in that population, the need for them to be meaningfully engaged, it actually adds to the security of countries, the security of employment, but then no shareholder loses out, because actually your bottom line is growing as well.
Yeah. You talked there about the shareholder, and that's where there's perhaps been a sticking point, if you like, in the past, in the belief that ESG and impact investing, as it's so called, was really to tick a box and it wasn't going to be financially viable. That's something you'd argue with now.
So I think that argument is well blown out of the water now. I think every company that you measure that has a social impact part to their delivery model, in their reporting, demonstrates that actually the bottom line increases, that satisfaction amongst shareholders goes up, consumers are better engaged, and the new consumer that is there for the taking for any company that is visionary enough to take this on board actually is in the win-win and ahead of the curve. Now those people who lag behind will always be the soothsayers, but I've yet to come across a company or a government that is failing to recognize the potential of moving forward. We're in the 21st century. We can't have 19th, 20th century solutions for a population that's on the increase. We'll have 9 billion people on this planet by 2050. If we don't get the Sustainable Development Goals right, if we don't get the businesses to align themselves with the new customer base, we're going to have some big problems.
So that's the fantastic potential to be tapped. Historically, there has been a problem with trust in this area and where the money goes. So that's something you're now tackling.
So we, out of the G17 model, is partnership, holistic, and transparent. The transparency bit came from where we believe there was 3 interdependent factors that have stifled and roadblocked us from scaling solutions. Even the best solutions to social problems have not been able to reach scale because there's been a massive trust deficit between financial partners, delivery partners, and the public. And now what we're trying to do is create this real transparency to create trust and certainty between source to target, exactly track the funding right down to the village level that we're aiming for. And we're going to do that through putting our platform on a innovative, disruptive technology that's coming down the pipe, which is blockchain. Blockchain is a distributed ledger, which is a transparency layer and it's immutable. So once a record is on a blockchain, it's there. And it is there, and we can basically, even when things go wrong, we can trace that chain of command and see where did things go wrong. People can view smart contracts, or how people were actually brought into the ecosystem, how people, we wouldn't want to go as far as having cryptocurrency that only supplies funding to sustainable companies.
So that's the platform, that's the aim. Being devil's advocate.
Yes.
Are people going to fully embrace this when they're responsible for people's pensions at the end of the day, and they are going to say, but all I care about is my customer?
Right.
What would you say to them?
Well, there's a statistic that came out last year which basically says that the consumer is 90% more likely to ditch a brand for brands that have said that their service or their patronage had something for a greater good. And they're 70% more likely to pay more for that as well. So that growing statistic, so to answer that pension fund, that's a great question. I would love them to go and speak to all of their pensioners and say, hey, if we're going to invest your money, we're going to invest it into, for example, India, this is going to lift these people out of poverty, that's going to give them a pension ultimately. So your pension has helped somebody else get a roof over their head. I think the consumer is absolutely going to relish that, and we're already seeing these massive trends in the public sector. In a growing consumer public that is really worried that there's not going to be a next generation. And if their money can be working, and I like this comment about you can make more money or you can make your money more. And I think the growing consumer is saying we want to make our money more. If we can do something that gives us a benefit, but actually gives also a benefit to somebody else who's less fortunate. That is I think is the new model that we're going.
And the financial evidence is there now that it does pay off.
Absolutely.
Can I just add one thing to the pension fund argument? All pension funders like to see the next generation benefit. So whether it's somebody thousands of miles away or it's your own kith and kin, you want to make sure you leave a legacy behind.
Right.
So whether it's India rising, or UK rising, or wherever, the pension fund predominantly is looking after the next generations too. So we've all got a selfish motivation for pension funds they need to be able to go wider, because that is that altruistic need for all of us to see our generations benefiting.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. It's been fascinating, and I wish you all the best with the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.